It was an interesting pay-per-view because they went with this whole concept of they were doing concerts basically in between fights. They didn't do countdowns. So I think a lot of people dug it. Like they were doing, like Wiz Khalifa started off the pay-per-view. Mario Lopez introduced him. I don't know why those two weren't fighting each other. Mario Lopez trains boxing. Wiz does some training. Why does the pay-per-view start off with them scrapping, Leroy? I think that's the way it should have gone. But instead it was Wiz Khalifa basically starting off. He did like 4 songs. Then, between each match, they started with some amateur match, not amateur match, but they started off with some young prospect match. I don't remember who the guys were, but it was actually a pretty decent scrap. Then Badu Jack, was taking on some guy who looks like he was straight off the construction field because just a giant, meat tower of a man. Just going in there. They're like, oh, he lost 50 pounds of muscle to get in there for this fight. And so Badu Jack couldn't put this guy away, but he was basically beating the guy like 40 punches to 1 every single round. So the first couple matches, they were, it was all right, but it wasn't, it wasn't a classic to write home about. But this is what happens on big time boxing cards. You're not looking for a hugely deep boxing card. You're all just kind of killing time until you can get to the main event. But I was looking forward to seeing what would happen in the co-main event, which was Jake Paul, YouTuber, against Nate Robinson, 3-time slam dunk champion. Now, I was actually, funny enough, Leroy, I was at Jake Paul's pro debut. I went to that fight.
Really?
It was down here. It was at the, it was Super Bowl week when we were still allowed to go places. Robbie was stealing parking every single day from the convention center. And we actually, I actually interviewed Jake Paul on Radio Row, him and Shane Mosley, which I always felt like the entire thing was a work. Like I was like, is this legit? Like Shane Mosley's telling me, this guy's got hands. I'm telling you. I'm like, really, Shane? You've trained young guys for a long time. He goes, this guy can do it. I'm like, all right.
But isn't that what all the trainers say? Because they want to get their guy, some hype.
Well, it felt like it, but in this case, it felt like Shane Mosley it felt like what he was saying was dirty. Like he was just taking a giant check from Jake Paul, and that's why he was saying these types of things. But mind you, I did not see Shane. If this was a great trainer-fighter relationship, I did not see Shane Mosley anywhere in the lead up to this fight.
Right.
But either way, I was at Jake Paul's first fight, and it wasn't anything special. He took on a guy who almost looked like a cartoon character. Like, oh, okay, they're teeing this guy up to fight Jake Paul, and that's gonna be that. Now, I know Jake Paul has been training boxing for a while. I remember he was in camp with his brother, with Shannon Briggs as his trainer. So, he's been training boxing for a while, but he's kind of, picking these goofy matchups to kind of bring back celebrity boxing. These guys are really popular. They have a gazillion followers. So the matchup here was Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson. All right, let's see what Nate Robinson, you're going to say, oh, he hasn't trained boxing, but he's a professional athlete. He's a competitor. Right. Going up against some YouTuber who's 23 years old. He's in good shape. Don't get me wrong. Jake Paul looks like he's bodied up. But
he's a boxer.
Not really, though. He's not a boxer.
He's just a gimmick fighter?
He's not a boxer, though. Like, he's been training boxing, but he has one professional fight against a guy who's never fought in his life.
Okay.
So, I was like, Nate Robinson's probably got something for that ass. He's probably going to beat Jake Paul. And then we saw Nate Robinson's strategy. And it was bad. Because Nate Robinson was coming in, chin up, hands up, and he was trying to swing for the fences. And I'm watching this. I'm like, oh no, this is not going to go well. Because Nate Robinson, little fella, he is bound to run into something and is going to get hurt. And sure enough, in the first round, boom. Down for the first count. Now, I thought he wasn't getting up for the first one, Leroy.
Really?
I thought the first one, because he got hit and he was down for a while. This ref, which was funny because this referee, whoever this guy was, this guy needs to be, they need to revoke his license. You remember all that controversy that was back in the day for Tyson Fury, that he got a long count for his knockout for his knockdown against Deontay Wilder in the 12th round.
Yeah.
So it was like 10 count. That was a little questionable. This guy, the first knockdown, he gave Nate Robinson like a 15 count. He goes 9, 10,
9.5.
Nate, are you okay? And Nate Robinson's like, what? And Nate's like, he's like, let me see your gloves. You know, they always do the thing where they check the gloves, you know, to make sure you're stable, you're able to go out there. And Nate Robinson, literally, Leroy, he looks like he's got like his hand is behind his head. He goes, Nate, let me check your gloves. Huh? And so Nate Robinson's out. He took a big shot, but guts. He gave him 15 seconds. He recovered, finished the round. Okay, Nate Robinson is still going on. And then we start round 2. Now, do we have this call, J-Fig? Is this possible? So Snoop Dogg is on the call. He's with Mauro Ranallo, Sugar Ray Leonard, who stunk on the broadcast, by the way, and Israel Adesanya, UFC middleweight champion. But the two voices you'll hear on this call are Mauro Ranallo and Snoop Dogg.
Jeez, well, all right.
And so we're in the middle of round 2, Leroy. Nate Robinson already has been knocked down once, slowly to get up. And then then all hell breaks loose, and he runs right into another one of Jake Paul's hammers, and it's not looking good for old Nate.
Feint step. Oh, there's a feint from Jake.
Caught him. Oh, my God.
Down.
Lord have mercy. Robinson. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord.
Snoop, talk about
Praise
dropping it like
Lord.
it's hot,
Take my
baby.
hand.
Holy, got up.
Lead me on. Let me stand.
Wow, nothing funny about what's happening with Nate Robinson, but Snoop Dogg is singing the hymns. He's trying to get
Oh, Lord.
Mamma Mia, the problem child, proving to be a big problem for Nate Robinson.
My goodness.
And of course,
Call the ambulance. Pick up the people.
So Nate Robinson is flatlined. Gets knocked down once. Again, the referee, he shows guts. He gets up. But he probably shouldn't have sent him out there, Leroy, to get that final knockdown. He got up for that second knockdown. He's looking bad. And he tells the referee, yeah, Robinson, props. Dude is tough. He got up twice from two hammers to tell the referee again, even though they were very long counts. Yeah, I'm ready to go. The referee should have stopped it immediately after that second knockdown, Leroy.
Oh,
he should have stopped.
I mean,
he sent Nate Robinson to the butcher. Like it was so bad, and he face planted. You thought Nate Robinson was dead. You thought he was dead.
I mean, look, I don't know. That kind of had like a dunk contest feel to it, because I mean, you got one guy talking, then the announcer who says, "Let's not make fun."
Yeah, well, let's
and
not
then
make light of this.
he let's not make light of this, and then he's throwing a little dig in while Snoop is in the background singing church hymns. Like that's like no wait. Nobody's stopping. Nobody's stopping.
But bro, we have Snoop Dogg on the call. Excuse me if I'm not bathing in the silly sauce of this card.
It was like it. I mean, like all that led up to somebody getting knocked out, right?
Well, this is the thing, and the thing that's funny, like, look, when a guy gets knocked the F out, it is scary, but it's also funny. Like, it's a funny visual from time to time.
Depending on how you get knocked out.
Yeah, nobody ever wants to admit that. Like, everybody's like, oh, anybody who steps into the ring is a warrior. Trust me. Look, the sanctity and how much I love fighting and how much I respect fighters. That doesn't mean that there's not crazy knockouts where you're just like, where you're just laughing at the way this happened, because you have to set this all up under the precedent of it's Nate Robinson in a fight against Jake Paul. And so, yeah, if Nate Robinson gets face planted, hey, huge guts to Nate Robinson for going out there and getting punched in the face. He made just under $1 million to go fight this fight. So, yeah, you're gonna end up looking a fool. You're gonna end up looking a fool. I don't know what to tell you. I'm glad that he's safe. I'm glad that he's okay. that was a funny knockout. I don't know what to tell you, Leroy. That was the way that he got face planted. It was incredible.
I mean, it's very hard. It's very hard to be out before you hit the ground.
Yep.
Like that. Do you know how quick that is?
The thing the thing that I found the most funny about it is they spent this entire lead up of the fight, right? What were they talking about? What was the big thing? Oh, Tyson versus Roy Jones. Got to keep him safe. 2 50-year-olds, no trying to knock each other down. Don't try to put pedal to the metal too much. Referee's going to stop it if it gets a little bit too rough. So we're sitting here and we're worried about two men who have so much ring experience and have such a great knowledge of fighting. Even if their reflexes aren't the same, it's 50 on 50 crime. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, how bad could it get? And we never considered the fact, maybe the one who's in most danger is the guy who's never fought before. Like, no, it didn't cross anybody's mind that Nate Robinson was possibly going to walk into something that was going to be damaging to his brain.
I know.
That's the fun. Like that's what I came away with. I was like, wait a minute. We were sitting here the entire time worried about Roy Jones and Mike Tyson. Nobody ever stopped to think, hey, maybe Nate Robinson's the one in danger here.
Right, the only one of the four who really never boxed.
Never boxed, has no experience.
Oh my goodness.
California State Athletic Commission goes, we'll give him a license. He seems all right. And that happens. So, poor Nate Robinson. Everybody's making fun of him. The NBA's making fun of him.
He's a meme.
He's a meme.
He's a meme. That's worse than the Jordan Crime meme.
Yeah. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. And then everybody's, now people want other people to step up and people are begging James Johnson to go kick Jake Paul's ass.
Jake Paul this is going to be a thing now. He's going to be on about 10 undercards through his life fighting athletes.
Yeah, he's going to be fighting. He called out Conor McGregor, his brother, somebody called KSI, another YouTuber from London. He's just calling out whoever, and it just gets a lot of attention. And he's like, Jim Gray is like sitting there. Jim Gray, who's interviewed Mike Tyson, he's interviewed the greats. And so he goes, you're in the long haul for this? And the guy's like, yes, I'm in the long haul for this. I'm 23 years old. Deontay Wilder only started out when he's 21. So this Jake Paul sitting there telling you like, I'm going to be the next champ of the world. I'm like, he has beaten a YouTuber and a slam dunk champion, and we're treating him like
like he's on the comeuppance.
like he's one of the prospects to be on the watch for.
Like some of the guys that we have in the studio, he thinks he's one of those guys.
Right. And it has to drive it has to drive real boxers nuts because
not really, because here's the thing. Sometimes in your sport, if there's a gimmick, it brings attention to your sport. And the people that pay for that sport, once they get eyes on it, are still gonna, pay the people that actually do it well.
Does it though?
Not the
because
gimmicks.
Listen, I follow boxing in and out. I couldn't tell you the guy who won the first fight on this card. I watched it. I don't remember his name.
Right. I mean, think about this. He's gonna be the new Butterbean.
Oh, I mean, listen.
I'm not just saying, Butterbean was a gimmick.
Yes, but Butterbean, we're all he's a fat guy. He knocks people out. Like
that's a gimmick. That's a gimmick.
We need somebody like the NBA wants somebody to hold up the honor of the league. Everybody was begging James Johnson on Twitter, James, please go kick his ass.
But he's in a different weight class, though, isn't he?
I don't know. Maybe.
That means that James Johnson would have to fight. Could fight Nate Robinson? No.
Are there weight classes when it comes to celebrity boxing?
It has to be to some extent. Like, if you're going to get a license, don't they have to? Isn't it governed in some way?
So who can make his weight? Should we get Dunks? Can Dunks make his weight class?
No. What?
Yeah.
Dunks? Really?
Yeah. Let's get Dunks out there. Dunks.
No.
Dunks is trained a little boxing.
Hold on. Let me see. Who would I want?
Tyler Hero?
No. Oh no. I'm thinking of who's the D lineman that's crazy. from the Pittsburgh Steelers that just retired.
James Harrison?
Yeah.
You want James Harrison? James Harrison to fight Jake Paul?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Here's the thing, though. Like, what if James Harrison is a terrible boxer and Jake Paul knocks him out too? Like, I don't want he's going to continue to take out menacing athletes.
Hey, we never thought of Nate Robinson as being a menace.
Fair enough.
James Harrison,
Scary dude.
right?
We'll
I mean, I wonder how much money they paid him, that guy in that commercial, to get tackled.
Now, the bout was declared a draw, Leroy. It was not a draw. Mike Tyson won that fight. I don't know what those Fugazi judges were.
They probably were going
to
to deem it a draw regardless, right?
Maybe, but they, they were even saying afterwards, "Oh, we should do it again." I don't know, man. Roy didn't look like he gave exactly the full effort. I got to tell you, the thing I came away with most impressed. Tyson went at those 8 rounds. He looked pretty good. Didn't look like he was huffing and puffing and in shape. Roy, on the other hand, looked tired. And I was surprised by that. I was like, I think Mike Tyson's gonna go for broke. He's gonna be looking exhausted by round 3. Wasn't the case. Mike Tyson was hitting that body. Now I will say, I think Mike Tyson did play by the exhibition rules. He kind of didn't see the patented uppercuts. Didn't look like he was going for blood.
You couldn't throw uppercuts?
It's not a matter of could or weren't allowed. I don't know, but it seemed like he went at Roy Jones with an exhibition pace. He was kind of just working the body. Didn't look like he was trying to concuss Roy Jones Jr. Nothing
trying to concuss him.
Yeah, so I thought, but Mike Tyson clearly won the fight, clearly won the exhibition, even though they declared it a draw. Mike Tyson says he wants to come back for another exhibition fight. Look, it can only go by 2 people, in my opinion, Leroy. All right, it's either got to be a third one with Evander Holyfield. All right, we got to see him versus Holyfield again. Holyfield's in shape. He's training. He's ready to go. Now he may have priced himself out because he did say
$25 million.
He wants $25 million.
How much do you think Tyson and Roy Jones got for that?
They disclosed each $1 million. Word was that Tyson made about $10 million for this.
Wow.
Yep. Roy wasn't happy with the money. Roy apparently felt like he got shafted on this. But I will say to Roy Jones. Look, I love Roy Jones. One of my faves. All right, I love Roy Jones. But Roy Jones was boxing 3 years ago. All right, it's not like it was people were turning over the box office to go see him. Like, the A side on this is seeing Mike Tyson fight.
Right.
That's just what it is.
Right.
People were excited to see Mike Tyson make his return. So it's either got to be against Roy. It's either got to be against Evander Holyfield this next one. You don't do Roy Jones again. Or you got to do a showdown, the Brownsville showdown, him versus Shannon Briggs. That's where it's got to go, Leroy.
Let's go, champ.
Really?
Yep. And I'll tell you why. Shannon Briggs, not afraid to be the bad guy in this situation. Everybody's rooting for Tyson. He's clearly the babyface in all this. People want to see Mike Tyson do Mike Tyson things.
Here's the problem.
Shannon Briggs will cause and stir up trouble.
Here's the problem. If those two fight, the lead up, it's going to end up being a brawl.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wants that.
Yeah.
You see, you all for that.
Yeah.
You wanted to get to the point where they're in there in this business.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to see Shannon
How old
Briggs.
Shannon?
He's 49.
Oh, that's pretty young.
So I feel like he's in that fair age range for this. Yeah, he'll be 49 next week.
All right.
Well, if you're gonna go all Brownsville, you gotta have Brian Flores as a special guest, announcer.
Agreed. Yeah, Brian Flores can be guest commentator with Snoop.
Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, the funniest moment of that is everybody's doing their fight thing and Snoop in the background singing hymns.
Yep.
like at a funeral.
Yeah.
They didn't pick up on it, but I thought, oh my goodness.
J-Fig, can you get us can we give me the Nate Robinson getting knocked the bleep out and Snoop Dogg's call, because poor Nate Robinson got turned into a meme. And everybody laughed at him. And then, yesterday was interesting because then everybody felt bad for him. They're like, oh, took guts to get into that ring. It's like, yeah.
No.
But it was for $600K and against a YouTuber. Like, he wasn't getting in there against Triple G.
I would want nothing more to hear this. So, you ready?
Yes.
Hit it.
Okay.
Feint step. Oh, there's a feint from Jake.
Caught him. Oh, my God. Lord have mercy. Oh, Jesus. Lord.
Snoop, talk about dropping it
Precious
like it's hot,
Lord.
Take
Take my
Holy got up.
Lead me on. Let me stand.
Wow, nothing funny about what's happening with Nate Robinson, but Snoop Dogg is singing the hymns. He's trying to get
Night,
started.
Irene. Oh, Lord.
That's it. Mamma Mia, the problem child proving to be a big problem for Nate Robinson.
My goodness.
And of course,
Call the ambulance. Pick up the people.
Pick up the people.
Oh my God.
That sounded. You know what that sounded like? That sounded like if the TNT basketball crew was doing the fight.
He was the star. I mean, honestly, Snoop was the star of the show. He was so good on the broadcast. So they brought him back for the. They brought him back for the Mike Tyson Roy Jones fight. You know what I think they had to do? They had to call an audible. The Sugar Ray Leonard was terrible.
No silly sauce.
No silly sauce. What is he there for? You know, they keep giving Sugar Ray Leonard all these broadcast gigs. He gives you nothing.
I think they wanted some credibility when none was needed.
He hated
Right.
He hated the play-by-play guy, Mauro Ranallo, who is one of the best combat voices out there. He hated his guts. He didn't like the silly references. He didn't like him saying Snoop drops it like it hot, drops it like it hot.
But my thing is, he was also the same guy that said, "This is no time for jokes," and then he followed it with a joke. Like, right? Like,
Well, I think because everybody
this
just
is
felt
no
like
time to be playing around. Uh-oh.
people went into the and like, yeah, it's a hilarious visual. He got face planted by Jake Paul, and then everybody felt a little bit too bad with how much they laughed at Nate Robinson's dead corpse on the canvas.
No, somebody said, I thought Snoop Dogg was going to say, the upper room. Y'all don't know what that's from. That's from Life.
Can you all right, so the other thing was Mike Tyson and Jim Gray. Now Jim Gray was asking Roy Jones about his health. Hey, how you feel after this one? Roy? And Mike Tyson took great offense to this. He goes, what are you asking him about his health? What about me? And here's Mike Tyson after the fight.
A lot of people were afraid, Roy, you might get hurt tonight. Were you really afraid in the back of your head that something could happen that might have put you in peril?
I was afraid I might get hurt. I didn't fight in 20 years. He only stopped fighting for 3 years. I'm afraid I might get. Why nobody care about my ass?
Well, that's typical, right?
I didn't fight in 15 years. He stopped fighting 3 years ago, and everybody worrying about his ass.
Nobody thinks that a giant is going to fall.
I haven't did this in 15, 16 years. I'm not a giant. I'm a beginner.
Did he ever hurt you tonight?
Well, listen, he surprised me with the hook. He hit me with a hook, a good hook.
Hurt.
Yes, it did hurt.
Wait. You know what we call that? We call that radio backtracking. Oh, no. He said, no, Tyson.
No, sorry.
Jim Gray is not the one that he's not gonna say if I was 10 years younger I'd kick your ass. That's not the scene for that comment.
Jim Gray's in there. He knows that he messed up, that he didn't show enough concern for Mike Tyson. But look, Tyson is right. Nobody cared about Tyson's health in this.
Everybody the whole time was saying, I hope Tyson don't kill him. He said, I ain't fought 15 years.
Nobody was worried about my health. Nobody was worried about his health, and nobody was worried about Nate Robinson's health, apparently.
Now nobody said, okay, that Roy Jones didn't fight well 3 years ago. They just said he fought 3 years ago.
Fair enough, but he ended his career on a win streak.
Oh, come on, man.
What?
Like, we've been to enough of these cards in these little the woods or in these convention centers to know you can always get a win. There's some guy who would take a payment for a win. So stop.
Put Roy Jones in the Trigon.
Well, first of all, that was another thing with that ring. That ring was basically the size of the Trigon. It was so small. That ring was so small this past week. Oh my God. It was
no
ridiculous.
running.
No running.
It was definitely not Ruiz and Joshua.
They tailor-made that for Tyson. And even still, they called it a draw, which was ridiculous. But we have put a poll up this morning to honor his fellow NBAer. Our poll question today is: can Duncan Robinson whoop Jake Paul's ass?
No!
A lot of people looking for nominees of people in the NBA to take Jake Paul out after he embarrassed Nate Robinson.
Why in the NBA?
Yeah, because the NBA was upset that this YouTuber was able to clean Nate Robinson's clock. Now, obviously, everybody goes to, James Johnson, put James. That's obvious. We know the James Johnson thing. I'm wondering, though, we put Duncan Robinson, chiseled, 6'8", with a little reach.
I tell you who you put in
Jake
there.
Paul's ass.
Either one. The Morris twins.
Really?
You don't think they got a little crazy in them?
A lot of bark, no bite.
Marcus Smart?
Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart would go
He
out
got
there.
intangibles, too.
He does have intangibles.
Yeah, come on. But man,
Grab him by the neck.
I could think of a few guys, and I would say I would get to about 130 before I get to Duncan Robinson.
Duncan Robinson's got hands, bro.
Where are you getting this from?
He's trained boxing down here.
That
Duncan,
don't mean nothing.
I could have it on.
Dude,
good
you can
authority.
train boxing. Boxing takes a whole nother twist when somebody punching back.
Nah, I can get
Okay.
it. Listen, I don't have it on good authority that Duncan Robinson has good hands, but I could get it on good authority that Duncan Robinson has them hands.
Hey,
I just haven't put in the journalistic research yet, but I will.
He could have been in that ring looking like Zaslow. You don't know. Just because he said he trained in boxing, he could have been in that ring like Zaslow.
Nah,
Couldn't even jump rope.
I'm telling you, he's a professional athlete. You're telling me Duncan Robinson can't jump rope? I feel like Duncan Robinson could do the old Floyd Mayweather side to side. I think he could do cross hands.
Somebody said Morris twins wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. Wow. All right.
Anyway, you guys can vote on a poll now. Can Duncan Robinson whoop Jake Paul's ass?
No.
Couple things we got to get to. All right, an old friend is coming back. He's coming back for this NBA season. We got to get to that. Plus, the most entertaining part of yesterday's Dolphins-Jets game. That's next.